We are back after the All-Star break, took an All-Star break of our own. And I mean, we missed a lot in that game. I'll tell you that. The over hit like two baskets into the fourth quarter, I think, if you're a betting man, unlike me. We're going to talk about a lot with the Chicago Bulls because they got busy after the All-Star game. There was nothing that happened before the game, but after the game, they decided to do stuff, including Patrick Beverley coming home. We're going to talk all about it, the good and the bad, everything in between. On today's episode of Believe in Bulls here on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. I'm your host, Nick Schultz, alongside my partner, former Bulls bench club member and Tennessee Vols, C.J. Watson. C.J., the Bulls finally did something. Took them long enough. 23 games left, but hey, Patrick Beverley's coming home.
Yeah, they made a move, not a big splash, but somewhat of a splash. So we'll see if it's like you said, it's going to be good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one or the other, I think. I don't know if it's going to be one of these in between, like they're going to stay the same. They're either going to get better or it's not going to work out. But hey, 23 games left in the season. Who knows what's going to happen? There's a lot that can happen in the next couple of months. And we're going to look into all the possibilities here. But first, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor, BetOnline.ag. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. Everything from pro and college basketball to UFC, MMA, and more. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup information, player news, and game trends at BetOnline with live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. It is almost conference tournament season in college basketball, which means March Madness is around the corner. This is getting really, really fun. The races are getting really interesting. Across college basketball, we won't talk about where my Ramblers are in the A10, but Tennessee looks like they're in good position in the SEC. You can bet on all of it at BetOnline. What are you waiting for? Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Get that 50% bonus at BetOnline. It's where the game starts. And don't forget, we have an official store of the Believe Network, an official t-shirt of our show. Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, available exclusively at shop.believe.com. There's a lot of great stuff there to support the rapidly growing list of shows on the network, but the official shirt of our program, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. The link is in my Twitter and Instagram bios. So Monday we took the day off. You were out of town. My mom had the day off school, so we went to see Ant-Man. Took a journey to the quantum realm. Figured I actually really liked it. By the way, we won't do a full review because I don't want to take the time, but I really liked it. And I thought I was still in the quantum realm when I got the alert that Shams tweeted Patrick Beverley to the Bulls. I mean, Russell Westbrook went to the Clippers. That was the big one off the board. So Pat Bev's coming home. Interesting fit here, CJ. Initial impressions.
I guess I like it. I like his toughness. I like his swagger that he brings. Defense, definitely an aging player, but definitely he's going to get after it. He's going to challenge you. He's going to challenge his teammates and the refs, his own coaches, his own front office. So it's going to be good. It's going to be, if not anything but entertaining, I think, and definitely something that the Bulls need, just a little boost of energy.
Yeah, the pride and joy of Marshall High School, I think it's right by the United Center, I think.
Yeah.
I like the guy, the Chicago guy through and through. Yeah. I mean, everything you've seen, all the other teams he's played on, he's got that Chicago toughness, and it fills the need. He's got that point guard model that we've been looking for all year. He brings the defensive tenacity and the leadership. I think all of those are qualities you need. Yep. It's just there's 23 games left in the season, so it's going to be a matter of, is this going to get them over the hump? Like, that's the question you got to answer here.
Yeah, for me too. I think another big thing is his three-point shooting. Definitely, he's a capable three-point shooter, but not shooting the greatest percentage. I guess the last few years, but definitely will take him. But I think the biggest thing is he going to make them? And I think that's just the biggest thing for me. Are you going to clog the paint up for Vooch and for DeMar and Zach? I would have rather them get a capable three-point shooter to actually, extend that range and not be able to, clog the paint.
Yeah, he's 34.8% from downtown this year. I mean, he's better than Russell Westbrook. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, when they were talking about Russ, it's like the guy can't shoot. Well, Pat Bev's a better three-point shooter. 6.4 points, 3.1 rebounds, 2.6 assists. And, I think the biggest thing that he's going to bring, he's going to get on people. And we've talked about the need for the leadership this year, guys to get on guys outside of Alex Caruso. He's going to do that. And he said as much, that he said he's going to get on Zach LaVine's ass. And that might be needed. And look long-term here, not just these next 23 games to end the season. Big picture, long-term, I feel like that can benefit a guy like Zach LaVine.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you have players like that, teammates like that, it's going to hold you accountable and make sure they're getting the best you each and every game in practice and on the floor and during games. It's only going to make you better and like for the rest of this season, but also for the future. And that Zach is that kind of player who needs that push and who needs to just bring some more out of him. And I think it's going to help.
And going back to the entertainment factor, I didn't think it was possible to win a post practice media availability, but he won the press conference or lack thereof, I guess. Like I tweeted the clip from How I Met Your Mother when they talk about the Murtaugh list. Have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
No.
At all? Okay, I didn't know if you knew that clip I tagged you in. So there's an episode they talk about the Murtaugh list, and it's a reference to Lethal Weapon when he's getting too old for this stuff. Yeah. And they cut it before he says the S word and says stuff. He's too old for this stuff.
Right.
That was me reading through Patrick Beverley's press conference media availability with the quotes from the reporters. And the one I got here from Cody Westerland, he's talking about joining the Bulls. It's a vibe here. Billy is an energetic coach. He's got a lot of stuff when it comes to X's and O's. He's very detailed, got a lot of stuff. Morale of the team. Everyone's excited, ready to hoop again and try to make a playoff push. Right. First of all, it's hilarious. We're keeping this family friendly, by the way. I don't want to hit the explicit language button, so we're gonna censor it. That type of mentality where he's just free with the language like that, even that's something we haven't seen all year. It's a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, from a reporter standpoint.
For sure, that's what you want. You want to be free and relax. You don't want to be super tight, and I think that's what he's gonna bring. He's gonna get guys, just loose and to be themselves. And that's one thing you're going to get with Pat Bev. He's going to give you his true him. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to, make it seem anything what it isn't. He's going to tell you how it is. And I love that about him.
Yeah. And he addressed that too, his playing style. He said, and I'm quoting from Casey Johnson, the way I play, I run through a wall for any team. This is even more. It's a city where I'm from. So I don't know what might happen. I might pull some stuff out I never did before. I'm super stoked. Can't wait to get started. This is good energy, fresh energy. I agree with him. This is really good energy. I love this.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Like I said, I can't wait to watch the first game. And just like you said, he's definitely a player who's gonna run through a wall for you. And like you said, he's from Chicago. He's a diehard Chicago person, and you can tell that just through his energy, through the way he talks and stuff like that. And it's going to be fun to see. Just like you said, you're never going to know what he's going to do, and it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be entertaining at least.
Exactly. And that's one thing they've been missing this year is the entertainment factor. I mean, last year you had DeMar DeRozan in the fourth quarter. You talk about entertaining. Give the ball to DeMar, everybody get the F out of the way. Like it's the old Doug Collins line. I'm full of censoring today. That's the line from The Last Dance at Doug Collins in the press conference. But, with Pat Bev, it's going to be like the entertainment of, okay, what's he going to do? What's he going to say? Is there going to be a foul? He's going to go grab a photographer's camera and show it to the referee and get a technical again. That's the type of stuff that you're going to get fans interested. Like, I mean, this is beyond basketball. Like, this is just the entertainment value. The more I thought about that, the more I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. Why not? Take a flyer.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, it's just fun. Just reading the comments and hearing you say the comments, it makes me excited to even watch him play. I'm not a huge fan of his game, but I'm definitely gonna watch him play now.
Yeah, like I mean, you just want to know what you're gonna see out of him, especially for his hometown team. And I'm very curious to see how the style of the offense changes. Because another quote here, and this one's clean, by the way, not to censor anything. He said he told Zach LaVine, "Your job here is to not pass at all. Your job is to put the ball in the basket." That's music to my ears because we've been saying that for the last 3 months.
Yeah, it just seems like, Pat Bev has been around a lot of great players. Obviously LeBron and some other great players, Kawhi and PG. So, those guys are top Hall of Famers one day. And Zach maybe get there. And he's going to bring that tenacity. He's probably going to give him that mindset that he learned from all those great players and hopefully instill that into Zach. And hopefully Zach takes all that knowledge and that game that he's going to give him and use it to his best ability.
And I just hope we see Zach settle into a role. Talk about the importance of a true point guard. And we go back to it. You play the position. You know how a true point guard can set up a guy like Zach. So when you don't have one, he's trying to do too much. And if this means we don't get point guard Zach LaVine in the fourth quarter, this is going to be the best signing of AK's tenure because I am sick and tired of Zach trying to play point guard in the fourth quarter and turnover, or shot, turnover. Like, let the offense come to you.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has to let the offense come to him, but also you want to see Zach in some playmaking areas and playmaking, game situations, because he has to get better at that. Just like you said, he turns the ball over a lot in those situations, but he has to be a playmaker, not just a scorer also.
Right. Like I like the idea of, hey, Zach, you're not going to pass it.
Right.
but there's a balance to that.
Right.
That's again, you're gonna get this with Patrick Beverley. You're gonna get the sound bites where you're like, now wait a minute, pump the brakes. But that's who he is. And
yeah.
let's look at the lineup situation here. Would you start him?
I think with all the how he's talking, yeah, I got to start him. I have to just to see what he's gonna do, how it's gonna mesh with DeMar and Zach and Booch, and like I said, just see how it all works out. I'm sure it's gonna be like a 5 to 10 game scenario to see how it works out. If he might come off the bench, if he might start, but I would start him just to see, how it works out and if he really can mesh and really get a push these last 23 games.
It's interesting. When they signed him, my first thought was, okay, Goran Dragic, see you later. Yeah. No, they waived Tony Bradley. Now, Tony Bradley, I don't think he played more than 5 games this year. I don't have that's an exaggeration. I don't have the stat up in front of me, but I was not a fan. But I was surprised that you sign a guard, but you waived a big guy. So you've got a lot of guards here. You're going to play a lot of small ball, which is not a bad thing. Right. I don't think, but it just creates issues like, okay, if you're going to start Patrick Beverley, that means Caruso is going to go to the bench. That means you're going to have Caruso and Dosunmu and White and Drummond. That's a small lineup outside of Andre Drummond for that second unit.
I mean, I like that lineup. Honestly, like I said, you can switch everything. Obviously, Caruso gives you that defense of effort. But I like the small lineup. I'm all for small ball. Get the pace going up faster, which I think they need to do. They got to score more in transition, get to the free throw line more. So I think that'll open up a lot of things.
And thinking about it as I'm talking about it, this is the first time we've had a chance to talk about it, this whole thing. Let's think about that second unit, because if you put Pat Bev in the starting lineup, it's going to be Beverley, Zach, DeMar, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's going to be your starting 5 if he ends up starting. And Billy Donovan doesn't know if Pat Bev's going to start. But that second unit, let's think about it. You can go Dragic at the 1, Kobe. I guess you can go Kobe White at the 2, Dosunmu with a 3, I guess. And Caruso is going to be your 4. He can play any position on the court. And Drummond's obviously the 5. I think that second unit, if you wanted to do a true line change, have it be a second unit, I don't hate that at this point in the year. I mean, at this point, you're just throwing stuff against the wall, hoping it sticks, and maybe try to make a run. I mean,
at this point, you're just trying to throw lineups out there just to see if it'll work and how effective it can be. And if it can get you a win, you're all for it. But I like that lineup. The second group coming off the bench, I think it's a lot of energy off that group. A little bit of youth, a little bit of veterans, old timers. So I think it's a good mix.
Yeah, because the biggest thing here, and there are names I'm missing. Bringing a guy like Patrick Beverley, you're taking, minutes are going away from Derek Jones because you got to move Caruso to the bench. Yeah. It's going away from Dalen Terry, he's starting to come around. It seems like the game's starting to slow down for him. We saw that a little bit in the 6-game losing streak before the All-Star game. That's the type of stuff you want to see. And, if he gets in with that second unit, talking about Dalen Terry, that's fine. Give him some minutes. Let the game come to him, like I said, and have it slow down and outside of practice reps.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see that for him, but I also see for him is more so just continuing to develop. I think for him playing another year of Summer League would be great for him. Yes. And hopefully see how he does there, and hopefully he'll improve and hopefully come back next year for a bigger role in the team.
Right, and this is just a short-term thing with Beverley. This is just to the end of the year. This is not a multi-year contract. This was a buyout market. Hey, come play with us for the rest of the year, and he's making $800,000 or something like that. This is not the point guard of the future here. This is to get through the end of the season, and there's a lot of roads that you can take. The Bulls are currently 26-33, and I say again, a 6-game losing streak. They have not won since the trade deadline, by the way. When we came on here and said they should have done something, if they win the first game after doing something, I'm going to be the ultimate "I told you so" when we record next week. I mean, but 6-game losing streak right now, 26-33. They're 2 games back, of the 10 seed. But they also have a 32% chance of a top 4 pick, 7.5% chance of the number 1 pick. It is a matter of which road do you want to go down. Now, Pat Bev doesn't want to tank. He made that clear in no uncertain terms in his media session. But which road are you going to go here?
I go to play it out. I'm playing to win. I don't want to play to lose. I think that's just a bad vibes and bad juju. I'm going to win. I'm trying to get to the playoffs, playing game, and see where my team can go from there.
I get the argument for both sides. I understand where people are coming from. Okay, go make a playoff run. I just don't want Orlando to have a good pick. If this pick ends up going to Orlando, that's where that comes from. And I value playoff experience, play in tournament experience. I think that does a lot of good. But I also get the argument you've got a 32% chance of the top 4 pick now. That's according to our guys over at Tankathon, which that is a fun little toy sometimes, let me tell you. But, if you want to put your trust in the lottery odds, be my guest. I wouldn't, just because I know that the Bulls one time had like the 4th best odds to be the number 1 pick, and they ended up picking 7th because they drafted Wendell Carter Jr. that year. Like it's a double-edged sword. I don't think I can put my trust in the lottery gods, but that's why I'm not in charge.
Right, and that's only if Portland gets not an 8 seed or something like that.
Yeah, so Portland, that's a good point. We'll bring this up too. So Portland right now is the 10th best odds. If they're outside the top 14, the Bulls get the pick. Okay. So as we sit here right now, the Bulls had the 7th best odds for the number 1 pick. Portland is the 10th best, which means the Bulls don't have a first-round pick right now. That can obviously change if Portland goes on a run, if the Bulls go on a skid. There's a world where the Bulls have 2 firsts, one in the top 4 and one in the bottom 15.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like, what road do you want to go? Are you going to put your trust in Portland and the lottery? Like, what do you want to do here?
Yeah, I just don't put my trust in anyone else but myself.
Right, that's how I am.
It's too shaky. I just got to go for the wins and try to see. I figured this roster out. This is what we want to go on for the second half of the season. So got to try and make it work, and hopefully these players and coaches can make it work and get some wins and turn this thing around.
I played my favorite game. I just did the sim lottery, and the Bulls stayed at the number 7. Just saying. That's all I'm going to say. Like, with that top 4 pick, obviously all the talk is about Victor Wembanyama. You got Scoot Henderson at the G League if he declares. Brandon Miller at Alabama. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff. Trust me, I've written a lot about the stuff at Alabama right now. Depending on what happens there, Brandon Miller could be a really, really good player in the top 4. Like, there are dudes. This is just, it doesn't seem like a deep draft necessarily in terms of like guys you want in those top 10 picks.
Yeah.
So to me, with that in mind, unless you're going to put all your hopes in getting a top 4 pick, and by the way, if you finish with the 3 worst records in the league, you have a 50% chance of getting, or 52% chance, of being in the top 4. Like, unless that's your goal, I don't think you go out and get a guy like Patrick Beverley if that's your goal, though.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either. And I definitely think there's some guys in this draft who can be, I don't know, franchise players besides the top 4 or whatever, but other guys who can be great role players and have a long careers in the NBA. So I definitely think there's some talent there to help you and get you a guy come off the bench and develop him and continue to develop him. Maybe, like I said, he can be second or third option on your team in the future.
Right, like Scoot Henderson's a true point guard. He's going to go in the top 4. Amon Thompson's currently mocked there from Overtime Elite. Nick Smith, I talked a lot about this year. If he can get healthy, he's a stud, but he's got to stay healthy. It sounds like he's working his way back onto the court, though. You got Cason Wallace at Kentucky, who's kind of your 2-way type player. I mean, there are guys, if you're looking for a point guard of the future, the one, if you can be farther down the first round, Jalen Hood-Schifino out of Indiana. Watch out for him. Kind of the swingman type. I really like his game. If you pair it, like, he plays with Trace Jackson Davis, pair him with a good big man. If you extend Vooch, like, you get a good 2-man game going.
Yeah. So I like the guy from Kansas too. His last
Brady
name.
Dick.
Yeah, I didn't want to say his last name. I'll let you say it.
I won't mention the chants that come up across the Big 12, but yes, I can only
imagine.
If you watch a Kansas game and a Kansas road game, you hear it.
Right.
Yes, his name is Grady Dick. He's 6'7" small forward. I mean, if you're looking for at this point, it depends on where you fall to. If you get a first round pick, and that depends on that's where we talk about a potential DeMar DeRozan trade in the offseason. If they revisit the Zach LaVine trade talks, if you don't have a first, I think you've got to trade one of those guys and get a first. But
for sure.
It depends on where they'd fall in the draft too. I mean, it's not deep necessarily. Like Jalen Hood-Schifino is not the sexiest name in the world. I mean, there are other guys too. I'm just looking at the guards right now. I mean, Jet Howard would be a home run if you can get him somehow.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of you got to wait and see and watch for March Madness to improve some of these guys' stocks too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of too early to tell, but definitely going to be on the lookout for watching some of these guys and seeing how they do in the tournament, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at point guards because there's a lot of question marks with Lonzo Ball's officially shut down. We've expected this for months now, but it's official. He is shut down. Not unexpected. It still sucks that he hasn't played in 13 months now, going on 14 months. I keep making the joke. I can always remember how long it's been since I've been out your way and been to Vegas because I was on the plane when Lonzo got hurt. Like that puts it into perspective. Like I said when we were talking about it in our newsroom, everyone's like, oh, wow, Nick, like Lonzo's out. I'm like, yeah, he got hurt. I went to Vegas in January. I was on the flight when he got hurt. That was
Right.
January of last year.
Right.
So he still can't run and cut. Still a lot of question marks there. Apparently they don't know what's wrong. No idea why,
Yeah.
but it's a big question here. How is this going to impact the off season? Like, are you going to go point guard hunting? I mean, you need a backup. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting just to see. And my whole worry is just for him personally, just to see how he kind of recovers and if he's going to gain weight. Like, I just don't want him sitting at home just with his feet up, for the last year and some change, just doing nothing. I just want to continue to kind of keep working out, keep doing some kind of core, some kind of exercise to keep him moving, so he doesn't just sit there and just gain weight. But they're definitely going to have to find out what exactly is wrong, and if he's going to come back, and if not, you got to just cut ties with him and move on.
Yeah, I mean, LeVar, his dad said there was nerve damage or some
Yeah,
debris in the nerve or something. Like,
doesn't
again,
sound good.
it's LeVar. Just
Right.
throwing the disclaimer out there, but I know it doesn't sound good, and
Yeah.
it's a matter of too even mentally coming back from this. Like that can't
Right.
be easy. I feel for the guy. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. It's definitely alarming just to see all this happening, not being able to run and cut and walk, and it's just bad as an athlete. Just it's a thing that you do that you love, and you can't get out there and do it. Just I'm sure it's heartbreaking.
Right. And the other thing, this is more of it's kind of inside baseball, I guess, just for the front office. Can you get a trade exception somehow? Can you convert that this year that since he didn't play? I don't know if you can. I don't know
Yeah.
how that impacts the cap, the luxury tax. I know that's a big
Right.
term with the Ryan stores, the luxury tax.
Right.
Like, I don't know how that impacts everything here, but there's got to be something you can
Yeah.
do, right? Maybe I'll go down that rabbit hole tonight. I
Yeah.
don't
Maybe
know.
they can file for like disability or something like that. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
something. I've seen it before, but you just gotta see if they're gonna take that route to try to get some of that money back or whatever. So I'm sure they will.
Right. It'd be one thing if he played like even 5 games this year before re-injuring it.
Right.
He
Yeah.
hasn't he hasn't seen the court yet. He hasn't
Yeah.
even ramped up. Like
Right. At all. Yeah.
right. So it's not like this is them keeping him being. I don't know if it's not even like a cautious thing. It's he physically cannot do this stuff. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a way to do that. That'll impact the off season too. But there's way too many question marks. I feel like
Yeah.
all around, not just at the point guard. I'm talking all over this roster.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do, who they decide to build around, if they try to rebuild or retool,
I
like
hope not.
people will say.
I hope they don't rebuild. I don't want to go through that again.
Right. Yeah, it's tough, but it's that's the name of the game, I feel like.
It is. It's a matter. It's a what have you done for me lately? But I mean, with a coach like Billy Donovan, I know Billy Donovan's catching a lot of stuff right now on Twitter, and I don't think that's deserved. I still think he's a good coach. I think
Yeah.
it's just that the hand he's dealt is not good. I mean,
Right.
a lot of the problems were covered up last year because DeMar went off, but
Right.
now that he's kind of come back down to earth, you're seeing the flaws, and it's not Billy's fault. And
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
not totally Billy's fault, I should say, because the first rule of
For sure.
leadership is everything is. But it's not all on him, but he's not the coach to go through a rebuild with, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think I'm sure they might part ways because he has one more year right on this contract.
They had that extension come in, that secret extension over the offseason. I don't know how long it's for, but I know
right.
they're invested in him.
Right, yeah.
It's at least another few years. So.
Yeah, so they believe in him, and they believe in what he's done and what he's doing and development of how he's helping the young guys. So, but like I said, I don't think he's a rebuilding coach. Might want to get your guy Jim in there for that.
Oh, please, God, no. He can stay doing analyst work or get him coaching some YMCA team or something. I don't want to go through that again. Doing an internship as a young journalist with that team,
Right.
that wasn't fun. I mean, it was fun. I love the job. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to take away from that. But I sat in on one of those press conferences, man. That was brutal.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it was a learning experience for you as an intern.
There was a lot of knowledge there.
Right.
I learned a lot of coach speak.
Right. Yeah.
I learned between covering Jim Boylan and Porter Moser my senior year of college. I am fluent in coach speak.
Right. Yeah. Hey, that's how you learn.
It makes it real easy to tell what pay attention to, what not to pay attention to when I'm covering these press conferences.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, don't go through that again. I don't need that bad juju. So before we wrap up here, 23 games left. We talked a lot about the offseason. We still got 23 games to play. What do we expect here? Bulls going to stay on the skid, losing 6 in a row after the trade deadline when they didn't do anything. I'm going to keep throwing that out there. Or are they going to stop this, get to the play-in, maybe make the playoffs?
I think, I mean, from what I've seen the whole season, I think they're gonna go, win a couple games, lose a couple games, but hopefully with this Pat Beverley signing, he'll bring some new renowned energy into the building, different mindset, and they don't go on these losing skids because they can't really afford it. They got to get on a winning streak and stay on a winning streak.
That 6-game losing streak before the All-Star break, that's just, you can't do that. And there's stat here I want to point to. We're going to be done here in a second. There were, by my count, 3 games out of those 6, they failed to score 100 points. And by the way, the 6th game, they scored exactly 100 in garbage time.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable in today's NBA. Like, I mean, if they needed a spark, this is the guy to do it. That's going to do it.
For sure. He's going to be entertaining, like we said, and he's going to bring that defensive mentality, that Chicago mentality, and he definitely doesn't want to lose in his home city. Just like, if I was playing in Vegas, I wouldn't want to lose here either, but he's definitely going to make these guys play hard each and every night.
And that's the effect I'm very curious to see, is how it translates, getting on those guys and the tenacity. And, if he's going to go off and I have to keep hitting the dump button in the press conference, I'll do it. I mean, it would not be the first time I've had to have the censor button ready for a press conference. I love it, though. That's not a complaint. But, the schedule coming out, they're going to get back to action after the All-Star break and the All-Star game, which we didn't even talk about how bad the All-Star game was. That's by design. I just didn't want to lament how bad I mean, the over hit, that's a good thing. But other than that game, it was not good. After the whatever the hell that All-Star game was, they are back in action Friday night tonight. This episode drops Friday. Home against Brooklyn. You got Washington, Toronto, Detroit, the new look Suns coming up next week. That's going to be a fun game. So I'm not even going to look at the strength of schedule here. Just go play your game and see what happens. That's my attitude at this point.
Yeah, just play it out. It's only 23 games left. We talked about it, the whole year about how the second half was the easiest part of the schedule, but obviously, with them losing, you can't tell that. So they just got to go out there and play and, hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I don't know. I was ready to get to the off season, but now I'm even more intrigued with this new signing. Bringing in a Chicago guy like that toughness. I mean, it's a cliche. It really is. But no, there is a toughness to Chicago guys, and bringing in the pride and joy of Marshall High School, man, I'm here for it, and I hope it has a ripple effect beyond the basketball court. Very, very, very curious. I will be dialed into that game for sure. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Believe in Bulls here on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. Use that promo code BLEAV, 50% welcome bonus for all your NBA and college basketball betting needs. And buy our shirt, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. CJ will get back after it on Monday, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about with this new look Bulls.
Me too, and I think I can't wait for the sound bites for post game from Pat Bev. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I wish there was a way I could kind of integrate him in here with the Zoom, and it's too tough. But those press conferences are going to be must see TV. And it used to be with the last guy who I already said his name, but I'm keeping up with the bit. Press conferences were must see TV for the wrong reasons. I'm very, very excited to see that. You just don't know what he's going to say. I love it. So we'll recap all of it on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody.